Shambho Mahadeva. Om Namah Shivaya. Some more information on because these chapters are such, these shlokas are such as I told you. The more we dilute it, the more it becomes palatable to understand. There are always grains left to dissolve. So when you dissolve those grains, you will find many other things coming out. See? So, but we are going in such a way that for a normal person who has not undergone the process of the discipline of brahmacharyatvam, the process of discipline of upasana in the true sense and nididhyasana, for them the initial informations are necessary to absorb and understand, so that this will instigate them to do the upasana, is what I am covering up. But the true upasak, when he goes into the details, there will be more to dissolve. Initial dilution, secondary, like evaporation or steaming or whatever you call it. An initial dilution, a secondary dilution, and a final dilution, like that. In various stages the dilution takes place, like evaporation takes place. Initial evaporation, secondary evaporation, third evaporation, fourth evaporation. The more and more which becomes finer. In medicine making, this is applied like potencies, increasing the potency by more and more of either dissolution or evaporation. In both the cases, the more of finer, the more and more of repetition of the same process. You see, steam it, again consolidate it, again steam that what has been consolidated, again steam that further consolidated. Now you see, steaming the steamed, steaming the steamed, steamed, steaming the steamed, steamed, steamed. I'm getting it? So like that, once you finally, a stage comes where it cannot be steamed, is the final stage. Is how the Upanishad also is understood. Are you getting it? This is how it has to be dissolved. That's what I said. The more you dissolve, the more you dissolve it. And the more you dissolve, the more it reaches the Sukshma Bhava. That's why we said we are traveling from Sthula Bhava to Sukshma Bhava, which is the basic principle, or which is the ultimate, why basic? Ultimate principle of which you have every time hearing the word Advaita Siddhantam. What is Advaita? That there is no Dvaita. Dvaita. Ultimately, it cannot be transformed. A stage when it comes, it cannot be transformed. Advaita, indivisible, they said. Indivisible. No, it cannot be divided further. Indivisible. Is how the principles I had been talking in the past two shlokas, because it's very thought-provoking, this, the last 2-3 shlokas, because they are going from the physical level to the psychological and spiritual levels, getting the direct. Is Advaita Siddhanta. To be in the Advaita, that is why I described about the blending, the mutual blend of the subject and object, we said. We call it as mutual blend. Again, I would like to go further in this, you see, because it may be difficult to understand. So, Advaita Siddhanta, Adi Shankaracharya has derived the principle, proved it, established it, and shown that it is possible. Yes. The Advaita Siddhanta, the mutual blend of this subject and object, is it? Swamiji has used a beautiful word here, you see, Advaitam. And for the Advaitam. Advaitam is not merging, it's not a physical action to take something and attach it. Whatever you, by an action, if you do, or by an effort, I have talked about effort, what's called an effort, some time back, if I remember correctly. By an effort, if I do something, it will remain as an attachment, it will not become one with it. Because with an effort, I am doing it. What is that? Effort is an action done with an intention. It's called an effort. Effort is used at the lower conscious level. Why? Because it needs certain tactics, intelligence. In Mano, Buddhir, Ahankara is necessary in this. And Ahankara is necessary to support the Ahankara, or the ego center. Mana and Buddhi is necessary. So when this Mano Buddhi Ahankara activates and is instructed or initiated, then an effort can be made to merge something with something will never become Advaitam, it is still Dvaitam. It was it's an intricate subject which has to be thoroughly understood, see, otherwise it will create complication. When two properties are mixed, a third property is produced with the characteristics of both the properties. The third property has an inherent characteristics of both these properties. Generally. But there are properties, when it is merged together, it is totally a different third property. Is it? Very simple to understand. Water, a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. Neither in hydrogen nor in oxygen there is water. Is there water? It's nothing. No. Because they are from the Prakriti. That's what I am explaining to you. So there are objects and subject. One is a subject, another is an object. One hydrogen and two oxygen, when it is merged together, then you create a third product, which is water. Well, you can definitely say that in water there is oxygen. Otherwise, water cannot retain as water. Or jivas will not come, will not live in the water if the oxygen is not there. Yes, that's also there. So there has to be some property of this combination. No, it cannot be a totally different one. But definitely the product which has come out, even though there is oxygen in water, there is no water in oxygen. Clear? This is how the Advaita Siddhanta is derived. Have you got it? The mutual blend of the subject and object. What is the mutual blend? Why he has specific. I had been thinking on this. Now, why the mutual blend? A mutual blend means it is not an intentional blend which is made. A mutual agreement means with understanding and conviction, with a firm, decisive identification of the problem, both identify the problem and solution as same, and they mutually arrive at that solution which both have thought is right. Right? This is called mutual agreement. Yes, this is mutual blend. Both derives that this is right. Not that one says this is right and the other follows it. No. Then it cannot be mutual. Then it is instructed, is it not? So a mutual blend, that means a blend is also that. It is not necessarily it has to be one to one. It's a mutual blend. Till the time both of us arrive at that resultant, it can be two, it can be like two oxygen and one hydrogen. Mutual blend. Okay. It's not two hydrogen and two oxygen. It's not that. Or it's the other way around. So till the time you derive the results, both are ready to undergo the process of transformation, is called the mutual blend. So the subject and object both are ready to mutually blend themselves together so that the elimination of the object, the identity of the subject and object is, what is the purpose? Mutual blend. The identity of the both have to be, that's why it is mutual. If it is instructive or if it is intentional, subject will say, no, let my name remain same, let your name go off. So it will be subjective. If the subject says that, then he says that no, then it will be objective. What is called objective? Another is subjective, because there is an ahankara of the object in one, another ahankara of this. When they have a mutual blend of this, neither subject nor object has a priority there. It has got a total, absolutely a different level of attitude, and both the names have been mutually blended and dissolved. It's called subject and object dissolution. Now, in practicality, you hope they understood the principle. This is the formula or principle or basis of functioning, and it is the truth. This is how Adi Shankaracharya, great saint, great reincarnation of Lord, has derived the principle of Advaita, and he said without the process of Advaita, without attainment of the Advaita, Brahma Sakshatkaram is impossible in Dvaitam. Because why? Then one will be either subjective or objective. In both cases, Brahma Sakshatkaram is not there. One is called an objective, another is subjective. So he says, unless both, not one, both have to dissolve themselves, and for that, both have to have a mutual blend. Right. When there is a mutual blend, then both are ready and absolutely, without any hesitation, dissolve their identities and produce the truth. For what purpose? The identity is a creation by manifestation. What is identity? Identity is a manifestation. This has to be taken as unmanifest. When it goes into the unmanifest, the manifestation has to dissolve. Object is also manifested, subject is also manifested. So the manifestation, unless it is dissolved, the unmanifest cannot be attained. And the purpose is unmanifest, which is Advaitam. And in order to have Advaitam, both the Dvaita, the object and subject, have to mutually, understandingly dissolve themselves into what? Not one into the other, not object is dissolving in subject, nor subject is dissolving into object. No, both convincingly, mutually, with an agreement, both gets dissolved. When it is dissolved, that which is existing will project by itself. It is not that the merging of the subject and object is creating Brahman. No. You understood that? See, it's very intricate. This was to be understood. Not like creating water. Not one gets into the other and dissolving. Then the object will remain or subject will remain. Because one is dissolving into other. So the other has to remain. Yes. Here, both are not remaining. If both have not to remain, where they should go? Where have they gone? You are telling one is object, one is subject, and both are dissolved, and both are not there. The principle here, see, why did I tell you about oxygen and then dissolution, mutual blend, other things are there? There is something, a third product is produced out of two merging. Two dissolutions, another third product is produced. But here what happens? A third product is not produced. Third product is not produced. That means a third form or third front is not manifested by dissolving these two by dissolving these two forms or shapes or fronts. These two fronts are getting dissolved. How? Where? As I always told earlier also. Where is darkness dissolving?
Light.
Into light. Is it not? Is there darkness in light? No. But in darkness there is light. In darkness there is light. Less bright to the eyes is called darkness. It is not darkness. I have explained this earlier also. What is dark? The same way, now you are getting it. The same way, there is Brahman. From the Brahman, due to the manifestations, yes, the object and subject has been projected out of it. It's an illusion. It's projected out of it. That is not the subject. That is neither the subject nor the object. That is why we always say that in everyone there is God. In everything there is God. What does it mean? Because they are manifested from the God, what we call as Brahman. So we say that in everything there is God. But in God, everyone is not there. Rama, Krishna is not there in God. But in Rama, Krishna, God is there. You can see God there. Am I clear? What happened? A manifestation has come from the Brahman. When the manifestation is what? When the subject or the object, which is Prakriti, that is the Maya, has been projected from the Purusha due to changes in the emotional fronts and the karma phalas and the karmas that is repeatedly happening with variants of Panchabhutas and Panchendriyas and Panchatantras. During these effects of this, what happens? Certain manifestations have been automatically created by the reaction of the actions that has been taken in the Prakriti. Not clear. When the sun rises, light is there. And along with the light, heat is also there. Temperature is also there. Is it not? When the moon rises, light is there. And there is also a temperature. What is temperature? There is a temperature. So whenever there is a light, a temperature also automatically comes from there. Is it a manifestation of the? It's a manifestation of the light. If there is no light, there is no temperature. But temperature, can it bring light? So from where the temperature comes? From the light. So light doesn't come from the temperature, but the temperature comes from the light. Are you getting? I'm trying to make me understand. Trying to make me understand. Same way, when the subject and the object is projected from the Brahman, Brahman is there and the subject and the object is projected, which is only when the Brahman is there, then only there will be a subject and object. If Brahman is not there, subject and object will not be there. When the light is there, then only the temperature will be there. Temperature alone cannot bring the light. That's why direct proposition and direct sometimes I forget certain words because mind is somewhere and this is called mutual. So what happens? Neither subject is something which is superior, nor the object which is something superior. Both of them, as far as the Brahman is concerned, it is a projection from the Brahman. And we, for the convenience of the explanations and the actions and functions in the universe, we have divided. There is a necessity. It's not that it is not necessary. It is necessary, there is necessity, and for that necessity, the subject and object bifurcation has been created so that an experience can be derived out of it. What's the purpose of the projection of subject and object from the Brahman? For the purpose Maya to experience objectively or subjectively. Whether I call it, this is a play of words, don't get confused. Somebody says objective experience, somebody says subjective experience. If you ask me, everything is subjective experience. Object doesn't experience, only subject experiences. Is it not? Subject is experiencing the subject is experiencing the object as the subject and the subject. Right? Is it comfortable? So, principally speaking, it's only subjective experience. But still we call it as object and subject. You see how funny it is? Does an object has an experience? Kashta. Okay. Let us come down to very understanding language. Kashta and Dukkha. Has Dukkha has any understanding? Does Dukkha suffer? Does Kashta suffer? Why? Why? Because Kashta and Dukkha doesn't have a subject in it. Kashta and Dukkha are objects. As far as a person is concerned, an individual is concerned, or a Jivatma, a human being is concerned, or a Jivatma is concerned. Kashta and Dukkha are objects. In Kashta and Dukkha, there is no subject. So kashta doesn't suffer. Dukkha doesn't suffer. Now how do you classify? Why I am saying, are you getting what I am trying to tell you? Yes. What did I say? Subject or object is not experiencing, I said. The dukkha is not experiencing dukkha. And why did you call it as dukkha then? Something is white in color, so we call it as white. Okay. Even though that is also subject. I'm just telling you for the purpose of talking now. Otherwise, this white is also my illusion actually. This white is not white. Through a prismatic objective kanikas, molecules, if I am looking at it, I am seeing it as white. That's all. Or I am seeing it as blue. I am seeing it as this. When the vibrational frequencies changes, the colors are formed from the white only. The color is only white. There is nothing other than that. Same way there is only one. So what happened? Advaitam again. So here, kashta and dukkha doesn't have kashta and dukkha. It's an object. But when that object, which I classified it as kashta and dukkha, when I am experiencing it, I experience kashta and dukkha. The kashta and dukkha, where has it come from? Where has the kashta and dukkha, okay, sufferings and what is it? Sorrows, where has it come from? From me, from you, from me, from that individual, from that human being. It has come out, and then I identify. I put my tongue out and saying that this is called a tongue. Say, or I take my tooth out and say this is my tooth. Same way, the kashta comes out from me and standing in front of me and say this is called kashta. Dukkha has come out of me and I call it as this is called dukkha. Okay. Now I tell you, come inside me, let me experience you. Then I cry, then I suffer, then I do all these things. Tell me honestly, am I right? Or logically, I am explaining it. Tell me, where is it? Where has it come from? Where is it gone? Where is, you could show me, if you have really experienced dukkha, show me yesterday's dukkha. By some way or other. Show me yesterday's kashta. It is a classification I projected myself like that. What happened? So kashta and dukkha are the objects. Yes. I is the subject. For me to understand what is called kashta and dukkha, the ego center of me has created this kashta and dukkha based on certain principles that either which mind doesn't like, or the sharira doesn't like, or my emotion doesn't like, or my understanding did not like, or my perception did not like, or my society did not like, or my association did not like. There are various. Is they all totally contradictory to each other? And all this contradictory to each other we classify as kashta and dukkha. Something that is not palatable to the society, we call it as destructive quality in the society. It's not directly affecting the individual, but it is affecting the society, we call it. Perception, idea of perception. This, if this happens, that will be a great kashta for me. Perception. Kashta. Association. I determine my kashta and dukkha is because of my association with something or somebody. Right? Like this. Where is the dukkha? Where is the dukkha? Dukkha is in that person or that object or that place or that tree where I have associated myself is creating dukkha to me. No. My understanding of the perception, my perception of the actions and reactions that I am undergoing in presence of that object is identified as kashta and dukkha. Right or wrong? You do not know if that presence of that is not there, whether you still have dukkha and kashta. Not having that now one is having the presence of that will create dukkha and kashta. Another side, principle is just opposite. Not having the presence of something XYZ is having kashta and dukkha. Somebody died, I am having kashta and dukkha. Something is not there, I am having kashta and dukkha. So having is also kashta and dukkha. Not having is another experience of kashta and dukkha. So as the object is the one which is experiencing, or is kashta and dukkha is in the object, or perception of the ego center that is created, projected the kashta and dukkha, then experience the kashta and dukkha. Am I clear? Dvaitam, Advaitam. Where is kashta gone? Where is dukkha gone? That the presence of that or non-presence of that, in both cases the kashta and dukkha which has come, where has it dissolved? It has dissolved in my ego center. Ego center. There is a difference here. What happened? Here there is nothing called an object, it was only a perception manifested by me. Brahman and Prakriti manifested object and subject. Am I clear now? Advaita Siddhanta. Now, if one understands this, then only one will be in a position to identify that Dvaita is not there. No? In Advaita, neither the enjoyer is remaining, nor that which is to be enjoyed or enjoyment. Nothing remains. Is called mutual blend of subject and object. It's a mutual blend. Kashta comes to me and I undergo the experience of the kashta is a mutual blend of kashta and me. Me means my ego center. It's a mutual blend. If I have a mutual blend with kashta and dukkha, then only I can experience kashta and dukkha. If that is the case, if I have a mutual blend with the Brahman, then only I can enjoy the Brahman. On one side you are enjoying the kashta and dukkha. There what happens? Neither I am remaining nor the kashta and dukkha is remaining. What happens? The ego center is experiencing the kashta and dukkha. In experiencing the kashta and dukkha, I am just telling kashta dukkha, experiencing of any object I am talking about. Please don't confine that only for the particular subject of kashta and dukkha. I said kashta and dukkha because that is easily understood by all of us. Any objective experience or any experiencing of the object, any experiencing of the object by the subject, only we call it as we are experiencing the object. Actually, who is experiencing whom? The subject is experiencing the subject. But there has to be two differentiation in subject and object, because then only an experiencing can be done. Unless there are two, the experiencing cannot be done, because experiencing is done by one. For one to experience, there has to be another. That another is based on my perception. This perception has been created. This is called Maya. This is called Prakriti. In Prakriti, because the subject, how the object has come? How the object has come? Object has come because of the constant subject being transformed from time and again for years together. The experiences that is created from the subject itself has created the objects. Yes, that's why I said the two is called the Dvaitam is called only a perception. It's only in our mind, in understanding. That's why this is the principle they have said, Jagat Mithya. I told about earlier also. That means Jagat is not there, he has not told. Jagat Mithya is it. Mithya means myth. That you understand the Jagat is like this. He did not say Jagat is not there. Some people describe Jagat Mithya means Jagat is a lie. No, not Mithya. Mithya means it is myth. It's a perception. The universe is like this. What is universe? It's a space. What is that? It's a space. In the space there are so many things, and these so many things are this is identified by you, is a perception. When a mutual blend takes place between the subject and object, the Advaita Siddhanta, when it becomes prominent, the Advaitatvam takes place. When the Advaitatvam takes place, the truth remains. When there are no two, not there is one, there is the truth. When two are not there, suppose light and darkness both are not there, what happens? Have you thought of it? When there is light, we call there is light. When there is no light, we call it as darkness. Okay. When both are not there, what is the status? Status is truth. Neither light is there, nor darkness is there, is the truth. Yes, darkness and light both are the perceptions, that's all. Then we classify, we came down to so many small. When we open the eyes, when we see, we are able to see something, then we call it as light. We are not able to see with the normal eyes, then we call it as darkness. Tapasvi said, if you got the knowledge, there is light. Tapasvi says, if you don't have the knowledge, it is called ignorance, which is called darkness. Andam tamaha. You see, everybody has got classification of light and darkness. Do you understand what I am saying? So the light and darkness is a perception when light and darkness both are not there. That's the truth. That's why Tapasvi said, Maharshi said, after learning all this at one point of time, when all these are surrendered, then you attain the Brahman. Neither light nor darkness. Neither the subject nor the object. May come closer to understanding. By the Advaita Siddhanta. That's why a mutual blend. There has to be a mutual blend. I feel like explaining a little more. When the Kashta and Dukkha came into the ego center, Kashta and Dukkha came into the ego center. The ego center as well as the Kashta and Dukkha which I have projected, the subject and object, they decided to have a mutual blend. Okay, I am hair splitting. They decided to have a mutual blend. Since there is no space in Dukkha for accommodating ego center, Ego center said, I will accommodate you. So the kashta and dukkha came to the ego center. And the ego center, now tell me, whether the dukkha dissolved into ego center or ego center dissolved into dukkha.
Ego center
It's a very intricate question. Think about it, tell me.
Ego center is also I think that is the ego only decided to dissolve in that.
Dukkha is a manifestation of projection.
Dukkha is manifested as projection. No doubt.
So that is.
Who dissolved into whom? Logically you have to tell me, not that simply tell something. You tell me, if dukkha has the one dissolved into, what is that? Dukkha is the one who dissolved into ego center. Not the ego center dissolved into dukkha.
Or both blended to each other.
This is called the intelligent answer. Even though a mutual blend takes, I already told you, the mutual blend has already been created. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Who dissolves into whom? Okay. There is cold water and hot water. You want to experience cold and hot. What you will do?
Have it separately. Alternate.
How will you identify? You will put your, yes, simple, no technicality. Put your hand in the cold water, so you feel cold. You put your hand into hot water, then you feel hot. Who dissolved into whom?
Hot water dissolved in cold water.
The finger dissolved into what? So who wants to experience it? Finger wants to experience it. The one who wants to experience it will dissolve into the other. The ego center dissolves into dukkha. Is why the ego center becomes dukkhi. Dukkhi doesn't become ego center. Am I right? If ego center has dissolved into dukkha, dukkha will experience ego center. Let me put it that way. Personify. Am I right or? If dukkha is if ego center is dissolving into dukkha, ego center will experience the dukkha. Otherwise, it has to be experienced by the dukkha. There is nothing called dukkha. So how can dukkha experience ego center? I have already told you that there is no space in dukkha. So mutually the blended dukkha decided to reside in ego center. So when it came to reside in ego center decided to experience the dukkha, got dissolved into it. So the ego center vanished, dukkha remained. Am I right? That's why you have become dukkhi. If it was not there, why should you become dukkha? Let the dukkha stay here and let it go out. Why did you become dukkhi? You dissolved into dukkha. Right? So the ego center dissolves into that. It's not a, even though the understanding was mutual blending, when it came, the ego center has become very restless for experiencing. So dukkha said, look, I don't want to experience ego center. I don't want to experience the mano buddhi ahankara. Because I am only projected a projection from you, so I don't have to experience you. If you want to experience me, I have no objection. Dissolve in me so you can experience me. If you don't experience and dissolve in me, you cannot experience me. So you decided to dissolve in dukkha, so you experience dukkha. Am I right? So the presence of something or the absence of something making you dukkha is not because of the presence of something or absence of something. It is because of the perception of the dukkha by the ego center and getting dissolved into it. Has nothing to do with the reason or objective experience out of it. You see, this is called subjective experience. In fact, everything is subjective experience. Now what happened? Even since it has happened like that, he dissolved into it. Now what happened? Because this is an experiencer. The ego center is an experiencer getting dissolved into the dukkha and experiencing dukkha. And after experiencing dukkha, what happens? He goes into the dukkha and experiences dukkha. So when he is experiencing dukkha, there is an experiencer, there is an experienced, there is an experience. If ego center decided to dissolve himself, this would not have happened. But he wanted to experience. Even though the understanding was a mutual blend, the mutual blend was dishonored by the ego center. There was no trust. Dishonored. When the dishonoring has taken place, he became the experiencer. Clear? Same way, when spirituality is derived, the truth has been projected to you. If your acceptance is there and dissolution of you into the truth when it takes place, absolute Advaitam, you are able to be the Brahman. You are able to be the Brahman. Otherwise, what happens? You are only understanding the Brahman, which is not the true Upasana, which is only an experiencer and experiencing. So long there is a space between the experience and an experience. When there are two, there has to be a space between. When there are two, there has to be a space between. So long there is a space between two, the dissolution doesn't take place. Dvaita remains as Dvaita. One thinks the other as the fact, truth. Subject thinks the object is the truth, object thinks the subject is the truth. Whereas both are not the truth. Both are projection from the Parabrahman. But both are thinking the other one is the truth. That's why a subject is trying to understand the object. Maybe the object is also trying to understand the subject that I do not know. Why? Because I do not know how this object is behaving. I know only about the subjective behavior. That's why there is no objective experience. Everything is subjective experience. I am experiencing the object. Is why I subjectively experience. I am not actually experiencing the object. I am not experiencing the object as the object is. No. Do you? No. Somebody is sad, somebody is bad, somebody is good, somebody is right, somebody is wrong. It's all judgment of mine. I have placed it, you see. It's subjective experience. Have I really objectively experienced? That's why there is a word, very small things everywhere. These small words are there. You be in his shoes, then you will understand what is his problem, they said. Not that you are standing like children do. Children always put their feet in the badon ka juta, they want to experience. Because they can never experience by standing in the juta. Be in, I know, I jokingly said, of course we all understand what's the meaning of it. Be in his shoes, then you understand what is his problem. That's what he said, is it not? That means we don't understand what is his, why did he commit that mistake? Only when you are in his position, you will know it. That means it's not objective experience. What have you? Your decision, your perception was subjective experience. According to your judgmental decision, he is wrong, or he is right, or he is bad, he is good. It's judgmental by me, subjective experience. It's not objective experience, even though I call it objective experience. He is bad. He is good. Objective experience. Is it really an objective experience? No. It's a subjective experience only. Why? Because I am not able to be the object in one way, or there's nothing called object. Is why one is not able to have the experience of the object. Everything is experience of the subject only. We want logical explanations for that. Is why there is police, there is court, there is lawyers, there is judges, and there is so and so. With all this support, I don't have the objective experience. Do I have? No. With all this support, do we have? No, we don't. Even then, even somebody comes out of all the this one has gone through. Suppose somebody was caught by the police and under arrest, then undergone the prison, and undergone this, undergone that, and the judges have discussed in the court. Finally, he was released by the court, saying that he is not guilty. Okay. What will I say? Article judge is also taking bribe. He has released him. I have not accepted the judgment, you see. Why? Subjective experience. I have decided I will not accept this fellow. I am not talking about right or wrong, forget about it. I have already decided I will not accept it. So when the judge says he is not guilty, I say that you have bribed him. It's not right. Or if he punishes him, he says, no, I say that, no, look, an innocent being punished. The law is blind. That's why they have tied the cloth. They only undergo by the arguments. Arguments can always be, depending upon the influence of the lawyer and his efficiency of his putting up, things can be changed. Do I accept it? I am both ways. I am not accepting. Is it objective experience? What is it? Subjective experience. I am just making you understand with small things what is the dissolution or the mutual blending of the subject and object. Let us presume there is subject and object. Let's presume. Because that's Prakriti. And it's Prakriti Niyama. I am not going against it. I am flowing with it. In the Prakriti, because of the functions of the subject, the object has been projected from the subject. Object has been projected from the subject only for the purpose of experiencing it. Is it not? Still don't understand? How did a man invented to make simple? I am not talking about the big missionaries. Okay. How, why and how a man has invented to make a cot to sleep on. Please understand, it's not a simple thing. A man, when he was born, he was sleeping under the tree with the leaves spread or the grass spread on the ground. Initially with the ground. Then he finds the ground is uncomfortable. So he found out some soft material, grass and leaf and all that. He spread it, then he made the bed. Then he said, this is also not sufficient. Then he made some mud mixed with water and pasted. Then he said, oh, a little more better. Then he found out, no, this is not enough. So let us make one thing. So he made the from the bark of the tree, then he cut. He made like that jula, and then he slept on that. Like this, gradually, one after another, he found out, okay, a cot like this with wood, cut the 4 legs, make these things. Either you tie rope on that, or you tie strings on that, or you tie tape on that, or you put a plank on that and put a mattress on that. Initially cotton mattress, now rubber mattress, then water mattress, then no mattress, air mattress. So many mattress has come. How this has come? Was the object there? Was the object there? Who created the object? Manifested? The subject manifested the object for the purpose of the experience. I am not talking the normal language. For the purpose of experiencing, he said, this is hard, this is soft, this is better, this is much more better, this is much more better. For finding, no, he wants to have more and more of experience. I am not talking about the luxury or something. He wants to have more and more of experience. So subject discovered the object, is what I am coming to conclusion. Or manifested the object. Caught was not there. And caught is not there. What is caught? He cut the trees, then made it into a particular shape to suit his convenience, and that's why there are so many cots. So we call it interior decoration. Is it exterior decoration? Actually, what are you doing? Exterior decoration. But you call it interior decoration, right? Funny, no? I find out all these words. He called, actually it is interior decoration only. Truth. That's a truth. It is interior decoration. To your satisfaction, you are creating a decoration. It's only a decoration. It's not a fact. It is a decoration. It's not a fact. It's a decor that you created depending upon your convenience, to your convenience. Whose convenience? The subject's convenience. So subject has manifested the object. Very clear. Prakriti created by manifestation of the object for the purpose of what? For the purpose of experiencing. The object was perceived by the subject, so subject and object is that. This is how it is. And after experiencing, the object is no more there. If the subject can understand this truth, then what happens? When he understands the truth through the tapasya and meditation, the subjects get dissolved into the object gets dissolved into the subject, and the subject gets dissolved into the truth. Advaita, both are not there. Advaitam, both are not there. Then what is there? The truth is there from which it has been projected. Where is the cot gone? At one point of time, dissolved into the Panchabhutas. It became again the tree. Yes. Where is the cot gone? Dissolved, finished. Where it is gone? It is gone there. Same way it is gone. It gone from your perception. Yes. Earlier subject experiencing something else was experienced. Now you want to experience more, so you created, or that's called manifestation. Manifested same way as you have created a cot to experience it, you have created a kashta and dukkha also to create it. What is the difference? Both are manifestations of the subject. Both are manifestations of the subject. If this truth can be understood by learning the Upanishad, once you understand the truth of this Upanishad, Advaitam can be through tapasya. What happens? Neither that is truth nor I am truth. Is the court truth? No. Is court is not truth. Then is the tree truth? No. If the tree seed is the truth? No. If seed is not the truth, is the earth is the truth? No. Everything is bhutas. Everything is that. Pancha bhutas are also not the truth. Pancha bhuta division also has come from the Prakriti. Because of the Prakriti's existence, the objects have been created by the subject for the purpose of experience. Is why we are called that as Pancha bhutas. Are Pancha bhutas, even though we call it as separate, are they separate? No. They are all classifications of the subject for the purpose of experiencing. So we called it as Prithvi Tattva, Jala Tattva. Not Prithvi, Jalam, we didn't say that. We said Prithvi Tattva, Jala Tattva, Agni Tattva, Vayu Tattva, Akasha Tattva. They are all principles, that's all. Principally, everything is there together. But for the purpose of identification, objective experience by the subject, we divide it into this. That's why we are gradually, what are we doing? We are from that stulata which we have divided by the Prakriti, the subject is experiencing one by one and gradually converging it into the other and going into the Sukshmata, means we are creating Advaita Siddhantam, understanding the Advaita Siddhantam. So from Namopasana, we came from, Vang, then we came to the Mana, then we came to the Will, then we came like that. One after another we came. Everything has gone into the other. Where is it dissolved? As I told you. Now you understand? Do you understand? I have been talking all this only for making you understand this. Where is it gone? Is Namopasana there? It is there. If I hair split it and create the manifestation for the objective experience of the Namopasana is there. But if I grow further up and all that, Namopasana gets dissolved into the contemplation and tapasya and the annam. Mutual blend of the subject and object. Where is it gone? Gradually. So where is Kashta, Dukkha, where is it? What do you think? How do I know? We all are together. What you think, I do not know. What I am thinking, you do not know. Somebody may be far, thinking different. Somebody close, they may be thinking different. All are subjective experience created by the subject. Certain actions make me satisfied. Physically, mentally satisfied. We say so, oh, it is nice. Sometimes externally they behave very nice. We are satisfied. Our ego center has experienced the object of the goodness. What I called it as goodness because that is palatable to me. So I called it as goodness by the expression of somebody as good. And my ego center, because I liked it. Who liked it? My ego liked it. So my ego got dissolved into that goodness. And I said, oh, it is very nice. But actually, what is below here? What are the person thinking? We do not know. Probably once you know that, you will not like it. You are not interested. Your ego center is interested to get dissolved into that experience, so you liked it. External behavior, you liked it. Actually, are you really understanding the object? Are you really understanding that person? No. You understood him at 1 second or few seconds of expression that has been created. Your ego center is satisfied. Ha, fantastic. Finished. Did you objectively understood? No. You have subjectively understood to suit your egocentric convenience. You accepted it. I pretended it because my ego center wanted to experience that. I'm happy. I pretended, somebody believed it. I'm happy. My ego center has believed it. My pretension has been taken as a fact by so and so. You see, he has got a clever move in that. He wanted to have the experience of that, so he is experiencing it. So the ego center, even though the ego center is getting perverted by that, he is not being disciplined and directed in the right sense. Is why Sthita Prajna has to be there. The truth has to be there in the Antaratma, Antakarana, in behavior, in thought, in sincerity. It doesn't matter whether somebody believes it or not, it doesn't matter. Inside, deep inside, we say that? No. Deep inside there should be bhakti, shraddha. Deep inside there should be affection and compassion. Deep inside there should be love. That has to be there. Honestly, it has to be there. Whether it is understood or not, immaterial, it has to be there. Why? Why do we say that? Why it should have the sincerity deep inside? It has to be there. Deep inside it has to be there because my ego center gets disciplined by the characteristics I am creating, and my ego center will learn to experience only the truth. You understand why these lessons are taught? Not for joke. My ego center, when I have got deep understanding, deep love inside me, deep compassion inside me to my people, to understand what we call it as my people or things like that, or my place, my house, my this, my immaterial. If you have that deep, I may not express it. Somebody says, I may not express it. When it is there, what happened? What am I doing? I am not satisfying somebody. I am not dissatisfying somebody or not satisfying somebody. What I am doing? I am disciplining my ego center. I am telling my ego center, I will not settle for less than this. That means you have to, if you want to experience, you have to experience the truth that is created by me. Now gradually what happens? The ego center get trained only to enjoy or experience the truth. When the ego center starts experiencing only the truth, it will not settle for false things. So he will not try to enjoy the objective experience which is false. Like as I told you, somebody expressed something good about you, but inside there is something bad. The ego center who is learned, is trained only for enjoying the truth that is there inherent in you, will not entertain that external praise, we call it the praise. He will not be happy or elated by that. He will say, come on, hold it. I have to understand it properly. Then only I will get myself into it. I will not. This lesson will be learned by the ego center, is why these things have to be done, is why it is being practiced. Do you understand? It's a great value. The psychological development is being done by the purification of the characteristics that is practiced with simple practices. We call it be honest, don't tell lies. What will happen if I tell a lie? Nothing happens. People say, एक झूठ बोला तो क्या हुआ? No, nothing happened. The sky is not fallen down. White lie is permissible. So many things people have told depending upon convenience. What is this white lie? What is this black lie? That also we don't know. Then they will also quote Bhagavan Krishna has lied during Mahabharata Yuddha. So he is Bhagavan Krishna. Compare himself as Bhagavan Krishna. Very conveniently they do that. No? All these are what? All these are why it should not be done. Your ego center will start enjoying that. So he will look for, ego center will look for the mutual blend of such characteristics which will end up into Dvaitam. Whereas if you have these inherent qualities in you, your ego center, you are trained to be absolutely sthita prajna in those values, the true values of that. It's not that how people misunderstand the values of the culture in totally in different sense. Not based on somebody's small behavioral pattern. We don't do you calculate the values like that? Culture like that. Culture is rich, that is inherent inside you. What is it? It may not be the external. So when the ego center is trained in such practices, the ego center will not settle down to small petty actions external to him. Is how a sannyasi doesn't get influenced by your all sorts of things. Show him wealth, show him health, show him manpower, show him whatever it is, attractions, attachments, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, anything you show him. Please keep it with you. I do understand all these things. I do not want to enjoy all this. I don't want to experience it. Why? Because his ego center has already been trained. Mano, buddhi, ahankara, not ego center when I am talking about. What is ego center? Mano, buddhi, ahankara has been trained to dissolve, has been trained to accept only the truth that is inherent. So he will only dissolve into that. So he dissolves into the Brahman. So he himself will not be there. You understand why it is all that? What happened there? Dvaitam has taken place. Advaitam has taken place. Subject and object, mutual blend of the object and subject. The object is removed by the ego center. There is no object. Where is the object? It's all subjective. My truth, my inherent knowledge, my absolute truth of the Brahman, my reality. This is called the experiencing. I have trained my ego center. So he is not looking for dissolution into something which is inferior to that what he doesn't understand. Anything that is with somebody else or something else, somewhere else, is not understandable. What is inside the tree, unless you cut the tree, you don't know. What is inside somebody's mind, you don't know. Well, people can read the mind, that's a different thing. While what is something else, you don't know. So the ego center will not look for such satisfactions, which is pleasure, we call it. He will experience only not kashta. He will not experience the kashta, dukkha for the purpose of experience projected by him. What he projects is only the truth that is existence. He is trained by that. Is why we have been taught from the childhood that to tell truth, to behave like this, behave like that, tell like this, express like this. Is why? What for? Not for experience. As I told you, if a small lie is told, nothing will happen. We all know it. See? No? Without anybody's harming anybody, a small lie has been told, nothing happens. But a great thing has happened inside you. Inside your ego center. Who started enjoying that? No? He will have the subjective experience of that particular object. This is how the ego center get perverted, we call it. This perversion is the one which delays you, which removes you, which takes you away from the sthita prajna. And without sthita prajna, you will not be in a position to attain the truth, attain the Brahman, understand the Brahman, is called the mutual blending of subject and object. See? Is it clear? Is it good? Yeah, clear? Am I right? I don't know. Am I right or wrong? This is what I feel. We can keep on talking on that. I think this should be good enough. This is the clarity. That is why there are no two. No, this because subject is the one which is project. Because it's a very confusing subject. It's not easily understood. Because we are trying to understand through our buddhi and mana and ego center. Is why we are not able to understand. Because our experience is totally different. So he said, this is Annam. Hey Devarshe, this teaching of that Advaita Siddhanta, that the subjective experience should be based on these principles, so that the mutual blending of the subject and object, the Dvaita Siddhanta, will be dissolved into this and will project the truth inside me, and my ego center, my manobuddhi ahankara will get really enjoyment, is dissolving, dissolution into the truth, Brahman, where neither the subject nor the object, nor the enjoyer, the enjoyed enjoyment, nothing remains. By living in this body and mind, Adi Shankara Acharya, he said that we can experience this, we can go through this, there is no doubt. It is possible. So this is the principle of sannyasa behind it. A person who is a true brahmachari, for this what is required? Samarpana bhava first of all is necessary, otherwise the I and you, this dissolution doesn't take place. That's why they are insisting Samarpana should be there. Now you understand why? I am going back to connect it. Samarpana is necessary. Upasana is necessary. Nididhyasana is why? Unless this is done, my ego center will not be disciplined. As I told you, we must make our ego center trained to enjoy only that. Like we train ourselves, or our parents have trained us, or things like that. No, I say karo tab theek hai. Aisa mat karo because that is papa. This is punya, that is papa. Don't do this. Ahimsa, paramo, dharma. All these principles are nothing but to make you dissolve the object into the subject and dissolve both of them with a mutual blending, and then realize the truth, so that when the blending is done, both gets vanished. Yes. Is it not? Both gets vanished, and then the truth prevails. The truth prevails. When the truth, why did Adi Shankaracharya? I don't know. We have to keep on talking on the subject, still it will not come to an end. Why did Adi Shankaracharya then said that with the Sharira and Mana being there, how can we can experience this Brahman? How we can experience this dissolution of the subject and object principle? How is it possible? How is it possible? Let the Sharira be there. Let the Mana be there. Who said no? Let the object be there. Let the subject be there. Who said no? Why should I know? At a point of time, from inside me, when my ego center, manobuddhi ahankara, starts dissolving into the truth alone, gradually what happens? The manobuddhi ahankara will get dissolved into the Brahman, and my ego center has already dissolved into the Atma. Earlier I used to explain, manobuddhi ahankara gets dissolved into the Atman, Atman into the Paramatman, Paramatman into the Prakriti, in the Prakriti into the Purusha. It's all processes. When the training is done for the Antaratma through the tapasya, through the right practices, through the right rituals, right way of practicing, through samarpana bhava, when I am seeing that I am not there, my sharira is not there. Sharira is there. Sharira is there. Who does samarpana? The one who has sharira and mana does the samarpana. Simple. Otherwise, who else? Why is samarpana? The word itself is not there. The one who has sharira and mana is only doing the samarpana. The one who has got sharira and mana is only doing the upasana. When he does it, what happens? He trains his truth. These are all truths. The truth is being trained to the antakarana or the ego center. Ego center is practicing. I will dissolve only in this because this is the absolute happiness. It is not being, I am not being perverted by getting dissoluted into the untruth. So get dissolved into it. He is being trained gradually by samarpana and upasana, and when he does trained by that, what happens? His manobuddhi ahankara, even though there is a thing called sharira, but his higher consciousness is already merged with the Brahman, which is why we call it as higher consciousness. Higher than the perception of the sharira and mana is called higher consciousness. The lower consciousness is that which is identifying the subject and object. In the higher consciousness, there is neither subject nor object. So he being in the sharira, his consciousness is higher and he is merged with the Parabrahman. So by having sharira, what happens? He is able to dissolve the sharira with the power of the higher consciousness. Yesterday, day before, I told you that when a person standing below the valley of the hill, looking at the top of the hill, he said, he sees many things. Understand what is on top. The moment he is on top of the hill, he sees everything. Same way, the one who is with the sharira, mano, buddhi, ahankara and sharira, living in the lower consciousness, he constantly getting entangled with the lower consciousness, and the ego center is trained only to dissolve into that. So the ego center looks for such pleasures and gets dissolved time and again into the lower consciousness, whereas a Swami or a Guru who teaches the disciple to stop is called samarpana. Stop traveling in the lower consciousness. First is that stop traveling in the lower consciousness. Samarpana, stopped. Upasana, train to travel only in this upasana. Nididhyasana, attainment of the Guru's consciousness into disciple's consciousness. That means his consciousness has been dissolved into the Guru's consciousness, which is known as the higher consciousness, and the ahankara has been trained to enjoy the happiness of that blending of mutual subject and object, which is this lower consciousness and higher consciousness, and the ego center manobuddhi ahankara enjoys that higher consciousness because he is on top of the hill. He is on top of the hill, then he sees everything that is so simple, that is silly, that is rubbish, that is this. Then what happens? Even though his sharira is there, but his consciousness is at the Brahman. When his consciousness is at the Brahman, sharira is at his will. Can dissolve, can keep immaterial. It's called Ichha Mrityu. You understand what I'm saying? Where is the subject and object here? Dissolved. I got it. Like that, so many things. I think we have gone very deep into the absolute Brahma Tattva and the secret. These are all the rahasya of the Brahma Tattva, which when it is revealed, it unfolded page by page, it will keep on unfolding. The more you unfold, the more it keeps on unfolding. But as I told you, we should be in a position to dilute ourselves as fast as we can, instead of waiting for so many unfoldings takes place. When you dissolve yourself, your capacity, your highest capacity of dissolution into this solution will make you attain the Brahman much faster. More you are taking time to dissolve yourself, the more troubles for you and your Atma. Swami Ramakrishna Paramahansa in his, that, as I told you, referred last classmate, in that there is a small paragraph, a very small thing, but fantastic, A small water snake, by mistake caught a big frog. Now this fellow cannot swallow that big frog, water snake. Neither he can leave it, because he knows only to catch it. You understand that, no? So what happens? What happens then? What happens? Swami smiled and said, only one thing can happen. Both frog and the snake, both are suffering. That's all can happen. Till one of them die, this will happen. That's all. No, he cannot swallow it. It's not possible. He has written one small paragraph. So the more you are able to prepare yourself to dissolve yourself, you will attain. Otherwise, what will happen? You will catch this, neither you can leave it, nor you can swallow it. What happens? Suffering increases. It's a beautiful example Swamiji has given there. Okay. I think we must stop here, because this you have to contemplate. Today's subject is very, very intricate, deep. Lots of diversions are there, diversifications are there. You have to sit, please. You have to sit and recollect whatever I have told, repeatedly. No? And dissolve it in you. Accept it. Contradictions can be there, nothing wrong. But contradiction should be to the benefit of accepting the truth. That's all. To dissolve and then accept the truth. Contradiction should not take you away from that, as the snake has caught the big frog. There can be. What is contradiction? Contradiction is contemplation. Then it is not going away from that. Can be there. But unless you sit and settle down this, it's very difficult. I think this itself is too much, because I could not stop in between. So I have told so many things in that. You have to, according to me, you have to just get each and every small expression. Forget about the word. Even the small expression I have given you, that has to be dissolved in you. Then you will be able to experience the truth. Then you will be able to experience what is it actually. Taste it. Sugar, you take one handful of sugar, put it in the mouth, take a gulp of water, swallows it. What you will understand, I say. Take a little bit. Then you will know the sweetness, is it not?